Alright, hello and welcome to another modding tutorial, this time on adding a character to an unused slot. I got that question a bit on my first video, so we're going to go ahead and do a tutorial on that. First, you're going to want to download Meta. If you are not subscribed to the Discovery Patreon, you're going to need to do that. Without Meta, this is going to be a much harder process. So just click download. You get a DM from Rodeo Resell Ranger. You're going to download this dependency.zip and the meta build.zip. I'm going to show my meta folder. I already have it downloaded and installed, but basically you're just going to grab the contents of the dependency, and you can just drag that onto your desktop, or if you have a meta folder made, drag in the contents of this, and then that meta build, just drag that in. Once you've done that, you can open up Meta. I have mine open already. We're going to go back to our directory, go to cake files or wherever you have your modding folders, go to wrestlers, characters, and we're going to drag in our mod. I'm going to be using John Moxley for this example, so just go ahead and drag in the folder. We're going to rename it. If you take a look at this page right here, this is a page of wrestler IDs. So we're just going to go scroll up, to around the 400 mark. Around 460 is where the unused slots begin. I've already added in some slots into my game, so I'm going to go ahead and use 467. You could use 460 if this is your first one, or honestly you could use any of these open ones, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go ahead and use what is this, 467. So we'll go back to our character folder and we'll rename this to 467 underscore John underscore Moxley. And of course, gonna go inside of that and rename these. So 467, and then the same for these, 467. So now that you've done that, it's time to start editing the data files. If you have not done so already, you should extract these JSFBs from CakeView. Open up CakeView, press open game directory up here in the corner, and then go down to characters. You're going to want to export this characters mapping.jsfb. Just export it and then put it inside of your characters folder. And then once you do that, scroll down to roster, and you're going to want to grab the face textures.jsfb and export that into a roster folder within your baking folder, as well as char profile table.roster. Once you have exported all three of those, we're going to open up Meta, and you're going to open those JSFBs inside of Meta. Once you've done that, you're going to export JSON. I keep my my JSON files in here. Basically just create a folder and call it data, and then when you export your JSONs, just export them here. It'll ask you if you would let Meta watch the file. Click yes, that way it's a much easier process to save it. Once you've done that, let's go ahead and open up these JSON files. We can open them up using Visual Studio Code. Now let's go ahead and find our way towards the ID. So basically just type in ID quotation colon, and then ours was 467. So here is our string of data here for the 467 slot. it's pretty much just all set at the basic. So number one, what we need to do is make this character playable. So what we'll do is let's press enter, and then quotation, playable. It's gonna let you finish it off there. Just press tab, hit colon, and then 1 comma. So now that character is playable. The next things we need to do are add a commentary and announcer slot. So we're just gonna go find one. Let's just bring this up again, and Shawn Michaels. Why not? Go grab Shawn Michaels. Just scroll down here. Here it is. You're just gonna copy this. Let's go back to 467. Right? Okay. Yeah, 467. And then scroll down to the bottom part of 467. Make sure I'm on the right one. All right, there we go. Scroll down here and just comma, paste that in there, delete the last comma, and now you have pretty much set up that slot. So now that we have done that, let's open up Meta. We're going to go to Utility, Open Creation Suite, and you can go one of two ways. You can create your own profile from scratch, or you can grab one from the Discovery Discord. A lot of people are uploading their own profiles up in here. Basically, just come in here, Control F, and we are doing Jon Moxley. So let's just search up Jon Moxley, and see we have a moveset profile by Robbie686. So let's just download that. We're gonna come back to Meta, and we're just gonna open that up. So we have this open up. Let me just move this out the way. So if you were to be making this from scratch, let me go through the important ones to change. Obviously, we want to change the wrestler ID and the slot ID. Let's go ahead and do that. We want to make this fully playable. This one, you can either keep it on Superstars or download Superstars. Basically, just where you want to organize, but I'm going to keep them on my Superstars. Obviously, the location, the height, weight. If we take a look at the ID list again, if we look at 467, it does not have announcer or commentary IDs. Commentary IDs are very hard to change, so I would recommend just making them a blank one, which we just do by putting 65535 there. That is just a blank slot. And for announcer ID, you can choose somebody with an announcer ID. For example, let's say Kayla Braxton. Her announcer ID is 564. What we could do is put 564 here on this announcer ID, and then in Sound Editor, we're going to replace Kayla Braxton's sound files with Jon Moxley. That is something you're capable of doing. I'm not going to show that in this tutorial, but just letting you know. As well as if you want to, you can also keep it at 65535. Another thing, let's create the Jon Moxley name in our SDB. So go ahead and open up your SDB. If you do not have one, you can go on the website and download the Superstring by iTwistedSpartan. iTwistedSpartan has a lot of preset strings made, as well as some blank strings. That way, you know, it's a lot easier to be replacing, and it's a very useful mod to have. Basically, just put that SDB in a folder within your baking folder, like I have it here. It's a folder called SDB, and then my ing.sdb file in there. So we're going to scroll down towards the bottom part of the SDB. You're going to see a bunch of NP strings. These are the empty strings that I was talking about. So we're just going to replace this with John Moxley, as well as change one for social media, so John Moxley. Once that is done, let's just copy this ID over. And there we have it. Let's save this SDB, just so we don't forget. Now we can finish up the final couple of things. We're going to go to mapping. We're going to go to default attire. And we're going to find our John Moxley folder. 467. Default attire. We're going to grab the MDL and the MTLS, as well as the base model right here and right here. And while we are here as well, let's go ahead and grab a render. Same thing, oh, there's one right here. Awesome. We don't even have to go look for one. So let's go ahead, go to our render. I have mine in this folder. For meta, you're going to want to create a folder path like this, UI, render, and then your custom renders here. So just drag and drop that DDS file. We're going to rename that to 467 underscore John underscore Moxley. And then we're just going to go ahead and place that into this file path thing. Cool. So now that we've done that, all you need to do is save. I'm going to save that over the one that we already had. Alright, so now that we saved it, we're going to go ahead and go into Visual Studio Code, and let's open up that profile that we just made. Let's drag it here to the corner just so we can have both open. And we're basically just going to copy over some stuff. So first off, for our SDB names, let's just copy them over. And social media. As well as scroll down here towards the bottom of it. I went too far. Whoops. It should be right here towards the bottom where we had our commentary. Just paste it right there. And while we're here, let's go ahead and change these. Scroll up, location call name. Switch that. And that is it. If you are adding a female, you will have a gender right here. It would be gender 1. You would just copy that in there and put that in there right here underneath playable flag. We don't have to worry about the height and weight because we are going to import this profile in just a bit. But we're done with character profile table. So let's just go ahead, hit save. It should serialize. And we're going to move on to character mapping. So scroll down a bit. The character mapping should be here somewhere. This profile has a moveset, so it's going to, yeah, here it is. So we're just going to go and find our way. Technically, you can put this anywhere. It doesn't have to be in order, but just for the sake of being organized, we're going to put it in its correct order. So let's just find where we have 466. Copy that. And paste that in there. Give it a comma. And there you have it. We're done with that. File, save. And then for face textures, we're going to do the same. But I'm going to do it this way, just because I found it works better most of the time. So go ahead and copy this. Press paste. We're going to switch this ID to 467. And then for this string right there, let's open up meta, utility, hash generator. and we're going to go select the render, and we're just going to copy over this hash. Go ahead and click save. It'll serialize. Let me just make sure that I also click save here. Alright, so we have all that. Let's go ahead and bake our folders. So we're going to bake this one and our wrestlers. I'm going to hit bake and launch. And we'll let this game launch. So we're here in game. We're going to go to our roster page, edit superstars. We go to J, scroll down a little bit, and we should be able to find Jon Moxley right here. So as you can see, his slot is still kind of unfinished. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up meta once again, go to character profile table, hit prime memory. It will say game was not found. Just do it again. Meta is built to not work on the first try. I think it's kind of just a way for them to ensure that the game will be primed. Alright, so it's primed. We're going to scroll down to our slot 467. And let's import our character profile. It will do its thing. And if we take a look at Jon Moxley again, he looks a lot more complete. Let's just touch something right here, just so we can save it. Save all settings, and go ahead and do that. Sometimes, if you don't save it and close out the game, it will not. We just want to make sure to save it just in case. If you don't save it, you're going to have to import the profile every time you go into the game. And the final thing we want to do here is go to entrance. And we are going to go to Jon Moxley over here. Let's just check. The profile that we chose did come with a entrance, but sometimes they are glitched, so let's just double check that it worked. If it doesn't, if the game crashes, it's okay. Okay, it didn't. But sometimes the game might crash just because there it is. So as you saw, the game did crash, but that is kind of normal. For some reason, sometimes the profiles are glitched, so you're going to have to edit the profile or edit the entrance within the game. So we're just going to copy over an entrance onto the slot just so that we can open it and we won't have to worry about it crashing. But as you can see here, if we let this play out, there's Jon Moxley. His nameplate shows up, and it's all good. And that is how you install a wrestler on a unused slot.